Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Gibson. I hope you're well. Today with Norm Therapy, we have, of course, Montez, and we're going to be talking with him in a few minutes. Tonight's subject, and I kind of want to educate the public on, is proximity predators. Proximity predators is a category that I've coined in our Norm Therapy curriculum as an individual or individuals who are around you, whether they are in the workplace, the home, whether they are in your school or you name it, even in your social circles or even online. People who you just can't get rid of, like you just can't walk away from your mom. Sometimes you just can't find your way away from your husband or your wife. You can't alienate yourself from your kids, although some of you do, but you just can't do those things because you're stuck with these people. So sometimes they're predatory in nature, like they will play on your good nature, they will play on your fear, they will play on all kinds of areas of your life, your inclusion. Everybody wants to be included. But oftentimes, people who prey on you know this is your weakness of inclusion, so they'll prey on it and they'll try to exclude you so you will succumb or give in to them. We're going to talk about predatory people in your life or proximity predators because you just can't get rid of them. And when you do get rid of them, oftentimes, though, there are lasting tentacles and connections to them that just continues on. Like when you walk away from your mom, it'll still be your mom who may be a narcissist. You walk away from your husband, you still may have to deal with him because, of course, you may be divorced or separated, but you may have kids. So you're still going to have to deal with it. So the relationship changes. So you have to be able to adapt and deal with it. And oftentimes, proximity predators will be the kind of person that says to you, if you ever heard this before, that says to you things like, I dare you. I dare you go down there and I dare you do this. When people dare you to do something, they're not really, especially if it's something dangerous. I've seen people jump off rooftops, off the sides of mountains because of a dare. They're normally not looking after your well-being and they're looking for a laugh in your pain, normally. If you have to dare someone to do something so drastic or dire to you that the consequence, sometimes it's permanent. It could be paralysis, it could be death, it could be being maimed or humiliated. When people do that to you, that you can automatically see that this person has that much influence in your life that they can become your proximity predator. So you have to watch out for them. And we'll talk more about that as time ensues. And lastly, and I think this point makes more sense than anything else, they will have you do things for them, proximity predators, that you otherwise wouldn't do for anyone else, even if it's at your own detriment or if it's at the detriment of someone else you care about. They will make sure that they exact their pound of flesh. So let's get Montez in here, and hopefully we can begin this dialogue on that. And I asked Montez in our break area, I said, Montez, tell me, can you name off in your lifetime those proximity predators? And he said he could. So I'd love to hear from you. How are you today, Montez?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Drinking my coffee. I'm having a great day, as a matter of fact. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good.
Tell me, who, by title or even name or both, in your life have been proximity predator to you?
My mother and my little brother.
Okay. Now we've talked about them. Your mother and her toughness, the registered nurse, having
Mm-hmm.
gone through bouts with cocaine and crack cocaine over the years, and and your brother that you tried to emulate growing up, or he tried to emulate.
No, my little brother, the one
Okay.
that's a year below me.
We need to talk about him then. Then we need to have a little knowledge as you explain to us about him to kind of reiterate to us. Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, well then good. How about telling us about that the first proximity predator that you can.
But my mom, I was so adamant about. Now I look at it, I say I almost was forcing um, some type of interaction with her through the years. Um, that when I finally did make it to Wisconsin, um, it wasn't nothing that I wouldn't do for her. I actually went and set all those years in prison up there because um, I went out and I robbed someone, but it wasn't for my own personal gain. It was just trying to help my mom. She was strung out, cocaine, and my baby brothers. I had three of them up there. They were running wild. The oldest was 19, the youngest being 16. I was 25. Um,
Mhm.
I just there's nothing that I wouldn't have done, and there's nothing that she wouldn't have had me do. And once I came home from prison and started to work and to accumulate money and personal property and things of that nature, things just to to survive, just live.
Mhm.
My mom would see that, and she would ask me for the most impossible things to do,
What?
and I'd be
What? Give
darned.
me a for instance. Give me a for instance. What would one of the most impossible things to do be? What would that look like?
Well, see, you got to understand that um it might the thing it might not have been impossible, but for me in the predicament that I was in with the law, it was impossible.
Oh, difficult. Yeah.
You don't send me into no house um to pick up drugs for you um because you want to get high. You don't even ask me because I'm a grown man. Um
Mhm.
you should have more respect for me than that. Um you don't watch me work, and then want to take everything from me, and then guilt trip me when I say, "Mother, I got to do this, I got to do that," as if it's yours.
Other than provided for her.
Exactly. Um, she just she was so smart. She had that gift of gab. She could talk you around something real fast, and there's only a few people that I would allow to even be in her presence if I had to say something. I mean, if I had some say so, because she's that dang on that smart. You know what I'm saying?
Her
Um,
predatory nature was also,
yeah,
of course, with cunning and
yeah.
intellect, is what you're
In
saying.
Chicago, they call you a Vic. You would be called a Vic or a stain, and that's what
Mhm.
my mama do to you. Become a victim, and
Mhm.
you're
A
getting it.
mark. Yeah.
A mark. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very familiar with those terms. Um,
Yeah.
but for people who don't know, getting away from your parent, especially when most parents are who they are. If
Yeah.
worldwide, parents will be parents and you remember them the same from childhood all the way to where you are in your age presently. You'll
Mhm.
just remember them that way. But as you get older, your maturity sets in and you start to look at them in a more subjective manner. Um, and being objective as well, but more subjective. You start to look at them specifically for how you were treated in a relationship you had with them. She would want to make priority for her and what she wanted out of you over what you were trying to earn money for and build a life for. And she
Mhm.
would take that from you and put you in a circumstance where you felt compelled to do more for her, even
Yeah.
at the at the sake of hurting yourself, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
With that, and not only that, but I was in a relationship with another woman in Wisconsin at the
Okay.
time, and she you can't come to my home that I share with a woman. Like me and Bobby together, you can't come up in here. I don't care if you mother or not. You can't come up in here and think you're not the queen of this castle.
Mhm.
You're a guest. You're my
Absolutely.
mother and I love you, but you're a guest. Bobby is the queen. Bobby is run stuff.
Exactly.
She's not gonna no, it'll be a full-blown fight, knock down, drag out.
You won't settle for that. Well,
Mm-mm.
there's something that's missing in that equation. There's something very missing. It's like the equal sign. If you don't have an equal sign, nobody knows what the outcomes are going to be in a mathematical equation. And what's missing is respect. The
Right.
visitor must respect your home.
Hmm.
But you, of course, must respect the visitor if they play by the rules of respect. If you start every single thing in your life with respect, and I mean everything, you start respect for a new discipline, a new job, a new opportunity, new people. You start with respect. Everything should work itself out over time if it's true respect. Now, you're saying that your mother would not respect the tenets of your household, the principles that you live by with your wife, and she'd want to usurp all of that and be in charge when she came
That's
in,
right.
tell you guys how to live and what you're doing
Hmm.
wrong and all of
Hmm.
that. What kind of person normally does that? Can you tell me?
I mean, there's only I could say in her case it's a bully. In her case, it's a bully.
With
And
a hint of what? Narcissism.
yes, yeah,
Narcissistically.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But go ahead, go ahead. It's a bully and a narcissist. And so that's
Um,
very common for control personalities this way. But go ahead.
yeah. So she just she would tell you, you come in here or anywhere I'm at or you around me, I'm the only grown person. That's what
Hmm.
she says. And no, you ain't. I ain't trying to hear that. And so now we getting into it because I won't listen. I
Regulate
don't have. Yeah, yeah,
regulating your life. Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty bad. It is.
Hmm.
But are you still enduring that type of relationship with her whenever you do see her?
No, this is the thing right here. The lady that raised me died. She died back in October, and
Grandmother.
no, she was my great aunt. My grandmother had died when I was 9, 10. She
Okay,
was my great aunt. She took the reins when grandma and them died. You see what
got
I'm
it.
saying? And she
Yes.
was the baby, and she was my mother's auntie, but she was younger than my mother.
Yeah, my
And
family that way too. I have
yeah,
uncle.
and so this
I
my
have,
great auntie, and after everybody was gone, auntie was here, and she made sure that we was straight. I'm looking at her like she my mama, and when my mother didn't have enough um, courtesy or enough consideration or respect to even pop up at the funeral, she didn't. And Michael, it's gonna be a cold day in hell before I release the grudge that I'm holding to her for that. I'm not going to your funeral when you pass and you're 62, 63. I'm not going to do it. This lady gave me every key and everything, and what you know what I'm saying? And you couldn't, if you wanted to be a regulator, you should have been there when I was in the infant toddler stages and stuff like that. You could have regulated everything. Maybe I wouldn't have went to prison at 15, but you
then
didn't.
where your mom is, maybe you would have. Maybe you would have gone to prison at 12. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
little yummy.
just from what you've explained to me, not to judge your mother in any stretch of the imagination, but from what I've gathered, it would have been probably much more dangerous had you not had your great aunt.
Yeah.
Uh, I do believe that. Okay, so let's say we know that your mother is your proximity predator. She's probably your principal proximity predator. One of the characteristics of a proximity predator is they feed off of the energy of the people around them. They feed off of your energy. They feed off of the control of you. The mere the mere fact that they're speaking by virtue of hearing their own voice speak to you grants them power because they know they have a captive audience because they've already laid down the rules. I'm the only adult in the room, even though it's an obvious untruth, but
Hmm.
they're the only one in the room. And they want that to be clear. So when they speak, no one else should have authority, reason, or anything else other than just to follow what they're saying. This is very common with proximity predators. They don't want you to have a voice because they know you probably articulate something to them like, no, this is not going to happen. So when a bully comes up to you and you know you can lay them out, you just know it, but they got this bully attitude. Do you lay them out or you just ignore them?
I mean, well, obviously now I think ignore them unless it becomes physical. But for me, I remember when I was in the 6th grade, I was so bad, man. I was in school suspension all the time, and there was this guy. He had 3 fingers, and the middle finger, like it was 3 fingers in one. like a dinosaur, like the land before time.
Almost like webbed.
Yes, and they were webbed. He had duck toes, his feet and stuff, and I
Oh,
was afraid of him. I was so scared of him because I never seen nothing like that in my life. As tough as I thought I was, walking around with the Tupac bandanas on and the vests and stuff, man, I seen this man outrun. And years about 4 years later, I was sitting in the county jail. I was about 15, 16, getting ready to go to prison, and he came in there and he had robbed a little convenience store in Indiana with a butter knife. And when I seen him, all them times I ran, man, you couldn't keep me away from this cat. You could not,
you
because
beat down
I
on
need, well, I need to assert myself because he was a bully. So I need
him?
to make him know that I know who he is, even if he didn't remember me out of the 100 people he bullied. You need to know who I am. You need to know why I'm being overly aggressive with you. You need to know all this because you terrorize me,
Yeah.
and I can't wait till and
Now you're in my part of the neck of the woods.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you're scared, and I'm not no more.
Well, let me ask you, but go back to my question.
Yeah,
Um, if a bully like him, who you know you can overcome with you know, the mere gesture of a threat to him, uh, would you have reason to hurt him?
no, I'm not. I'm not. At that moment in that situation, I'm not. I'm not one of those people that like. I don't want to. I'm not about to be sitting up here fighting with you, knowing you're not about to fight back.
You're right. You're not a reactionary kind of guy when it comes to
Yeah,
that type
I'm
of
not.
thing.
If I see that you with it,
Or pose a
then
threat. Pose a threat.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
I
But
agree with you.
if I'm not about to fight nobody who don't want to fight back. I ain't. That's a bully to me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I agree. Let's take that logic into predatory excuse me, proximity predators. Excuse me. Wow, got a tickle in my throat today.
Yeah.
Let's take that logic into proximity predators and narcissists. One of the best techniques ever, if you can, especially with proximity predators and narcissists, with narcissistic tendencies or narcissists. And I'll tell you the difference between the two here shortly. But ignore them. You know that's a great power, just to be silent.
Yeah.
You ever get in the face of somebody and they think they know what they're talking about and they give you that look? You ever get that look where you know they don't know what the heck they're talking about, but yet they're just talking and talking and talking. And then they'll look
Yeah.
at you, they'll pause and they'll be quiet. They'll go like this. And they'll wait for your corroboration. And when you don't respond to that, and you just sit like this, when they go, like, and do you agree? Acquiesce to me, bow
Mhm.
under to me, succumb to me. And when you don't, it shatters their world. Normally, people who don't know what they're talking about will constantly look at you and pause. Why? Don't take my word for it, just watch them. You probably already peeped this. They
Mhm.
will look at you, stop and freeze, and wait for your agreement with your eyes, your gesture, your words. They will always wait on your agreement. And when you do not agree and you just ignore them, especially the bully, especially the narcissist, they tend to lose their power almost immediately. You can see the 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 ferociousness just leave their face because you're not moved by their presence, their words. So mom says to you today, "No, I'm the only grown person here," and she goes, "Hmm." I bet you
Mhm.
stop and pause and look at you. And I don't mean dumb in acumen or intelligence, although most people are who do this, but I mean dumb about how to deal with you.
Mhm.
When when you have a person who's a narcissist, who's full blown or extreme or malignant, these people are engineered and self-engineering as well as their environment has engineered them to be this way over many years normally. And they don't think about anyone else but themselves. Almost and oftentimes sociopathic, and in some rare cases, psychopathic, but
Mhm.
mostly sociopaths who only care about themselves. They can care less about you. All they want to do is be able to control you, put you down, do whatever, keep you down.
Mhm.
Remember, in life, everybody wants you to do better. They just don't want you to do better than them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you have to be careful of that when you're dealing with these people. But when you're dealing with
Yeah.
a narcissist and you're dealing with a person with narcissistic tendencies, the difference is that sometimes people don't know they're narcissists. Let's say a battered wife who has a narcissistic husband, or a battered husband who has a narcissistic wife. Goes either way. Constantly are barraged and bombarded and berated and put down and hurt and on and on and on. So what are they learning? They're learning that conditioning process that he's teaching them. He's
Mm-hmm.
saying to them that you're unworthy, that you don't matter, and that I am the only thing that matters, and blah, 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 blah. And they become resistant to logic when they deal with other people. They become resistant to that kindness they used to have. They'll make excuses for his or her behavior and then adopt some of their strategies and policies and characteristics and attributes that they have and start to exude them to people around them. Not because they're a narcissist, it's only because that's all they know.
Mm-hmm.
They only know that. You sometimes are a narcissist. And I don't mean it in a negative, general sense of narcissism. But in certain areas of your life, you are. When it comes to control of your circumstance, sometimes you're unwavering. You will not bend, bow for anything. And it can even hurt you if you
Mm-hmm.
don't. Sometimes you should bow out of it, or should not engage, or should allow people to have a voice. Narcissism isn't because you're a narcissist, but everywhere you've been surrounded behind narcissists or around narcissists. Because a true narcissist couldn't hear this conversation. Not only hear it, wouldn't even want to be better. You have voiced that to me without me having to ask you, that you want to be a better husband, a better father, a stronger
Mm-hmm.
man in the community and society, and have good things in your life and earn them. Most people who are full-blown narcissists couldn't even find those words unless they receive much treatment, much, of course, and consistent help with their maladies, of course. But by themselves, of their own voluntary or volition, of their
Mm-hmm.
own volition, impossible, because they don't see what we're talking about. You do. That's why I think you have narcissistic tendencies, because you've had to learn them all at the same time while you're trying to live a good life and be a good guy, and then also be a criminal sometimes. And you want to leave that life alone. So just imagine. And just like the guy with the webbed hands and feet that showed up in the prison, just like him, you could have, you know, really just ignored him. But in this particular case, you need to get him back, get your lick in for all the time he terrorized you. Um, a narcissist would have that would have still have that guy under their thumb to this very day,
Mm-hmm.
knowing he was a frightened to be there. But I'm certain at some point you let him up. Did you?
I didn't even like. I talked to him and I reminded him about what he used to do, but I didn't. It wasn't nothing physical. I left him alone. Plus, he wasn't. His conversation wasn't like mine. He wasn't riding the same wave I was riding, and so I left him right where he was sitting at. I ain't never seen him no more.
Good. I'm
Uh,
glad that happened that way. I really am. Because I was wondering about how that outcome when you said you had to get your lick back in, but I'm glad you got that kind of lick. You
yeah,
got him
it was
here.
that.
You got him
Oh
here.
no, the goal was the crash him. That was the goal, but he didn't want to. He was so paranoid and timid at his situation that he was making sure it stayed piped down. You steady piping down. I can't, you
But you
know.
can't do it that, yeah, yeah. Like
Uh,
like a wet mop. Uh,
yeah,
but what does that show you though? That most bullies are what?
punks.
Cowards. Exactly. Punks, cowards. But for the lack of a better term to the audience, cowards. Most abuse occur in life for one reason, fear. if not all abuse, any abuse you think of on the planet, the element of fear is used in order to make that abuse occur and stick and hurt and all of the other things it's designed to do, that a particular abuse, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's familiar or domestic abuse, child abuse, it's somebody's afraid. And there's a bully or someone who oversteps their boundaries, and that's why it becomes abusive. Is it abusive for a husband and wife to share the same checkbook and buy groceries together and all that? That's normal, very normal
Yeah.
to be able to share in your finances. But when another one abuses it and take all of their money and say, you can't write a check. You can have a checkbook and look at it, but you can't sign a check without me. Think
Right.
about that. That's quite abusive. So
Mm-hmm.
abuse is only when normal behavior goes too far. And like sexual abuse, especially with a minor and children. Oftentimes, this happens because people know children are much more innocent than adults and are much more gullible and naive and will believe anything they say. And then they use fear of telling the mom or telling somebody that they're gonna, share with the whole world if they say anything about it or hurt someone as a real. And that creates an atmosphere of fear.
Mm-hmm.
All all abuse have that element of fear. So your little brother was another person in your life who was a proximity predator. Explain to us how he was a proximity predator.
Well, the brother that I'm referring to is 17 months younger than me. He is the only brother that I have where we have both the same mother and father. Although even I mean that's true, but we when we were raised, we wasn't taught that this is your half brother or this is no. We struggle together. You my brother, and that's it. Okay, so this brother right here, he's my little brother, and the way that we were brought up, we had to take care of each other, and we had to take care of each other all the way out. One couldn't get into a fight with someone, and the rest of us didn't. Um, I couldn't come in the house with a baby Ruth, and he don't get one, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
because it was four of us here, and there was four of us there. We didn't know the other four in Chicago and Michigan, and my little brother he would literally, as he got older, he would do things knowing that myself and my other older two brothers, knowing we were coming.
Hmm.
Uh, when we didn't do what he wanted, he fell into the man baby, the baby mode. Nobody loves me. No, I love you because I'm keep coming to you. But in a minute, I ain't gonna love you because you're getting me in trouble. You like to got me killed more than one time, and I can't beat up the world. I'm gonna take a lick one of these days, and then what's gonna happen? What you gonna do? You
You felt
calling me sick?
used. You felt
Huh?
used. You felt used.
Yeah, yeah, and not just with stuff like that, but he snorts methamphetamines up his nose to stay up and sell crack right now.
So he was a crack dealer.
But yeah, but he's a meth addict.
Okay, and an addict. Okay, so with drugs, it makes him even less recognizable, is what you're saying.
hmm he will fall into that frame of mind when nobody loves me in a heartbeat, and then like case in point, now he's in the county jail, and everybody's tired of his drug use. They tired of his mouth, his nerve, his gall. They're tired of all of that, and he called me and hey man, I'm on suicide watch, and um I've not been eating too good, and I'm starving. I'm scraping other people's trays, and I'm like, man, come on. Cause I know you lying, you lying. I know it ain't an ounce of game you can run on me. You talking about incarceration, and you're putting it might be 50, but you putting 100 on top of it to get what you want. And so people got access to drugs in jail, and people got access to all type of stuff. And a bag of chips, a little pack of cookies, that turn into some money really fast. It's a barter system, and
Of course.
so I don't want my brother hurting and stuff, and I can't see myself sitting up here with a couple dollars in my pocket and can't help him, at least once. But that's all you get out of me though. So I did, no matter if he was tricking me or lying to me or I did it.
He's your brother. He's your brother, but you don't
Yeah,
want to fall down that rabbit hole again, is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah.
And I understand, and that's good. But and how else is he a proximity predator? Does he prey on the fact that not only are you his brother, but you owe him something?
No, not, it's not that I owe him something, but it's that he's been coddled so dang on much, even though he come from the same, you know what I'm saying, the same time frame, the same life almost. He wasn't in those streets like that, and he was coddled. We wouldn't let him fight. We wouldn't let him go. He was the one we held his hand everywhere, and so now he's at that stage in his life where he can't do anything, and if he does do it, it's because of us, or if something does happen, we got to figure the problem out, or and if we don't want to, he'll prey on that. He'll use that to,
Do you believe? I'm sorry about cutting you off there.
yeah.
I'm interested to know. Do you believe that he watched you and your other older brothers and sisters and family do what y'all did, and as the baby boy, he just tried to copy it, and then he didn't know how to do it? Is that it?
Well, no, I can't say that's it. I can't say, well, 50-50, because see, he did watch me, and he watched my other older brother, and he watched the older cousin that was an influence, and he tried to copy, and after so many times, he started getting it right. He became really big in terms of cocaine and being a distributor, and
Mhm.
he made his own little mark in the sand. But after over time, he started losing whatever vision or whatever goal he was striving towards, and then
Mhm.
he's next thing you know, he's doing this.
Yeah. So he's totally a different perspective when you're on
Yeah,
illicit substances and drugs. A totally
yeah.
different perspective on life. Okay, well, let's say these are your two main proximity predators. And I know the disposition of your brother because he's in county, you just said. Is it
Mhm.
something that he should be there for many years over, or what?
I mean, it's something that's habitual, and it involves drugs, and he might be sitting for 10 years because he I bumped my head and caught a drug case. It's been 20 years, 21 years now since that happened. I'll never catch one again. He's not of that sort. He keeps
Mhm.
on. Instead of getting a job and start cutting a check, he want to get his out the mud, out the street. Um, I don't like mud no more. Every time you see me, I'm clean. So,
There you go.
you know,
And your mom, if she came to visit you right now, could you control yourself not to have confrontation or even argument with her?
yeah, long as she didn't go too far,
Okay.
she'll push you there.
Remember, we teach people how to treat us. So, and have you tried just instead of her speaking first, you speak first when it comes
No, you
to how you want
can't
things to happen?
can't do that. She's not gonna give you an opportunity. She's gonna shut you down and tell you how she want things to happen.
Okay.
There's no, there's no, there's no. It's hard to even reconcile. She's not. There's no listening. There's no. Everything is, my back is on the wall and my guard is up, and I got to be the boss. Everything. There is no. And I'm sorry. I
The
hate to say it.
hierarchical leadership of the family or role, the role she plays as matriarch or mom is the ultimate role, and everybody needs to fall under and fall in line, is what you're
Yeah.
absolutely saying. So how do
But
you
but
how
no.
do you deal with that? How do you deal with that?
Um. For the sake of argument, whatever I'm gonna do. Anything else, I just shut up because I ain't trying to be arguing with my mom. But she'll pick up a hammer and ask me what it do. She throw up pitchforks on me in my face. SOS, low end. Mother was about all of that, and this is her attitude. And when she don't get her way, she'll get violent, and then and you either go roll or get rolled over, and it's just like that. Um, I mean, I hate to say it, but it is very rough woman. Like,
And we can get into that, but there's other mental health behavior behind that. Um, and I'm not qualified to go into that area, nor are we. That's what we do at Norm Therapy. But it's I would recommend mental health care. Uh,
She has it. There's 9 different pills that that lady takes. One of them being bipolar that
okay,
she will not take. She will hide it before she take it, and then thus the same actions going to keep because she's not going to take it intentionally.
got
A
it.
lot of
So,
she got like literally like 8 or 9 different medications that she's supposed to take at least 3 times a day. She ain't gonna take them, and ain't nobody gonna tell her she not doing it. So like it's gonna be like this to the end of time. And I'm not really in the same place I am with her and like that no more. You know
mhm.
what I'm saying?
Of
Yeah,
course not.
she showed me that she didn't care about me. She tried to hurt me so many times. She set me up to get hit by a 87 Ecoline cargo dango van. Um, Cost me 19,000 dollars on a car that I just leased off a lot. Okay. She sent people to try to hurt me and do harm to me. 8 or 9 people want to try to jump on me because my mom said go do it because I won't listen. But it's not. It's I'm content with how it is, and plus you can't run my wife. I'm not letting you run my wife, and she got that bad. She don't like the interracial thing. Don't work, man, and for about half of my family. Okay, it does not. And for me to bring a white woman around, that causes problems. And
Too
me
much
and Bobby
conflict.
get
Too much conflict.
yeah, yeah.
All right, so
And so
I'm not saying this for any reconciliation between mom and little brother. That's not what I'm
yeah,
doing. But I'm looking at how is your well-being right now?
as
What are
far
the
as
things
she,
that affect you in life? Is what I'm more geared towards these questions and these proximity predators. Because normally when a person is extreme, like both your little brother as well as your mom, they're not in need of norm therapy, nor can you teach them how to treat you because they already think they're doing the right thing in the first place.
mhm,
And it's hard for you to have that relationship other than being quiet until you don't respond. Once you do not respond and they feel that they really need to have a communication with you, a relationship with you, a bridge with you, then they'll begin to change themselves in order to accommodate that bridge, so long as you still ignore their BS, you ignore their advances and problems. So long as you do that, you're in a good place. And there are many other techniques as well, but I don't want to get in on the mental health side of things right now. But medication is warranted. I'll just say medication is definitely warranted. Uh, and I think you know that as well. You just made that very clear. Okay, let's move on from here. That's okay with you. I'm,
yeah.
what do you do to just to have a good time during the day, all by yourself? All by yourself, nobody around. It's just Montez. What do you do just to have the feel good about you?
I I'm well, I'm fascinated with liners.
Liners.
Now
Okay, you need to explain.
liners.
Go ahead. Okay, you got me at
Okay.
fascinated.
Well,
Let's go with
you see me stroking my goatee,
that.
so
I
and I
do.
know I'm darker than you.
I'm
You
watching
really
your body
jealous.
language. You know me. I'm always
Right.
doing. Okay.
I like I like a good pair of liners for your mustache and your beard. I don't like going nowhere without keeping myself together in that way. And after I done laid up there and put myself together like that, and I got my head shining, man, I love music. I love 70s soft rock. I
Oh yeah.
love Hall and Oates. Okay. I love Carol
Money don't
King.
matter.
Yeah.
Of course.
Simple Man, Leonard Skinner. Uh,
Oh yeah.
I, I got Guns N' Roses of the Steel Horse and stuff. I need to hear that because I feel
Okay.
like that's where the peace was coming from. The 70s. They had something to think about, to talk about. And
Had real dialogue in the music. They had
yeah,
real messages there. They really did.
yeah.
I I love 70s music and
Mhm.
60s music too. I love it.
And 60s and 50s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
From Sam Cooke on. There you go.
yeah,
We're there.
yeah.
We're there. I was watching was it Sarah Vaughan the other day?
Mhm,
And, jazz and just she was pre Dionne Warwick, right in that era, and just the most beautiful voice. Just
mhm.
made your whole skin just stand up and to attention and
Yeah,
feel it and listen.
yeah.
That's a good feeling. So you listen to music and you
Yep.
get into yourself and your self-grooming. You
Hmm.
go in and take care of you.
Hmm.
Self-care is everything. You know that?
Hmm.
How can you take care of anyone else if you can't take care of you first?
I don't know.
There you go. And I'm glad to hear you said that. But mentally, tell me, I know you read a lot, but mentally, what do you do to keep you sane, to keep you okay with you and
I,
the
I
people around you?
I gotta get away. First, I got to have my space. I gotta get away from people. I need to. I like my most favorite times of the day is in the morning and in the night, and I mean 2 o'clock in the morning. Because see, the world is for the time being is innocent and it's peaceful, and it ain't moving. It's still, and that's when I want to see things. Because see, when everything is still, I see exactly what's moving. You see what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so I
You
love
figure
in the
some stuff
morning.
out.
Yeah, I like being outside early in the morning, or I'll take a walk or late at night. And that ain't the smartest thing neither, especially not living where I live at. But I know right. I know what's right and what's wrong. And
Of
so
course.
man, I can go anywhere. I don't care because I ain't doing nothing wrong.
There you go.
Nothing.
You do have to be careful. You got a lot of people, depending on you in life now, so that's a good thing. But I'm thinking, you ever heard of back in the military, uh, when we were planning a mission, we would always try to pick the best time to attack.
Mhm.
One of the things we were taught, I remember one of the first few lessons we got when I was in special forces was about the best time to attack anything. And there were two times during the day and night. One was called EENT, and the other was called BMNT. And EENT was end of evening nautical twilight.
Mhm.
And BMNT is before morning nautical twilight. And that means, you know what the phrase that says, it's always brightest before always darkest before the light. You ever heard that?
Mhm.
Always darkest before the light. That's what both of those terms are referring to, because just before dawn breaks, I mean, it becomes its most dark.
Mhm.
And that's your before morning nautical twilight. That's when you can see, and because you focus your eyes on your enemy all night, you can see, but they don't know you're there, so they really can't see because you're right at that cusp.
Mhm.
So the before morning nautical twilight, BMNT, basically says that you're going in full throated with vision, with articulation of the mission, with understanding, with energy that you saved all night and day for that moment, and with a mission, with a
Mhm.
purpose. And the
Mhm.
other, uh, in this case, victims or combatants or whomever are not in that particular moment. Same with the evening, just before the sun sets, it's gonna be that hazy, hazy, hazy darkness. And those are the two times that are best, militarily speaking, to attack. In life, you just explained that 2 o'clock in the morning, it may not be before morning nautical twilight, may not be in the evening twilight, nautical twilight, but you're in a place where you see better than everybody else for you. We're not all the same, and we should all follow the BMNT, ENT rule, but we should have a place to go, a time to be there, a method of finding solace and finding comfort and relaxation, and then having a place where our thoughts actually mean something to us. That's what you were describing to me. That's what I got out of it. Do you find yourself meditating into your uh, mode of being when it's 2 o'clock in the morning? Do you find yourself
I,
meditating yourself there, or thinking your way there, or talking to yourself? How do you do it?
well, I think it's an assortment of ways that I function when I'm, you know, I like to say feeling myself when I'm, you know what I'm saying, at my
Yeah,
best.
gotta feel it.
Sometimes, man, sometimes I'm. Sometimes I might say a couple words. I might be trying to think stuff out of my mind, and to you it'll look like I'm talking to myself, but no, I'm reciting. I'm trying to,
As long as you're cognizant that you're
yeah,
talking out loud,
yeah,
you know you're
yeah,
talking out loud, you're
yeah.
not, you haven't lost it. It's when you don't
Right,
know
right,
you're talking out loud.
right.
That's that's
Um
that's when you got a
I
problem.
I I like I'm a mover. I don't stop moving. So I might be rocking or leaning to the side, or I'm always hyper. I'm always, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Um Whatever. I think it's about whatever's feeling good to me at that moment is
mhm.
how I'm functioning in order to get my process rolling. Um
Do you take notes during these sessions with yourself?
no, no, because I got a very good memory. Um Man, I remember everything. Um Especially the stuff that bothered me. Uh Sometime I might break down. I might be somewhere, I might be in the backyard sitting down early in the dang on morning. And I just might be, I might break down to myself for
Shed a
two to
tear
three
or two.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't let nobody see. I can't nobody see.
Is that
I gotta make
vanity?
sure.
Too much pride?
No,
What is that? What is that?
for me, I think it's I think it's pride, but I also think it's, I don't know if there's a word for it, but I know that I can't let my family see me weak in that way. And so I gotta tighten up, because if they see me, then you know what I'm saying?
It's your,
Like,
see, that's your interpretation of what you think they think of you. But I can guarantee you, a strong guy like you who just go sit out and is, let's say you got a picnic table in the back, and you just go, sit up on top of the picnic table, put your feet, you know how they are in like the parks in
mhm,
Chicago, those kind of picnic tables. You put your
mhm,
feet on the seat, and you sit on the table, and you just look out at the sky or the garage or whatever's back there. And just sometimes I do that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I haven't seen my kids for a while because go through divorce and you just have all kinds of things happen. And sometimes I just sit and I keep their picture on my phone. And I can just
mhm,
go sit by myself, all alone, grown ass man, been through wars and conflict and all kinds of things in my life.
mhm.
But my eyes are well up and I'm just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I could care less who show up. I could care if it's a neighbor. I could care if it's my woman. I could care who it is. I could care less. This is my moment. I get to
Mhm,
express me in the highest and best way I can, in the
mhm,
most fulfilling way that I can. And I'm just saying it. I know I'm a real dude. I got
mhm,
nothing wrong. I'm not even worried about what other people think about me ever. And I think your
mhm,
constitution, you have a very strong constitution. You're not some lightweight chap. You are a strong guy. And a guy like you shed a tear in front of somebody they care about. See, shedding a tear is one thing, and this is what's confusing about it. That's one thing. But whining about it and crying is another thing.
mhm,
So long as you're not whining about something, because that's a form of negativity, of course, whining and
mhm,
complaining, that's negativity. But so long as you're not doing that and you're really just into the moment of this is where it hurts, let it out.
mhm,
I think that's okay. I would stop worrying about what people think of me. The only people I would ever worry about what they thought of me is if I had to go past a test or something. I
yeah.
really hope that I get this driver's license because
Yes.
this guy over here, he's gonna, exact. Other than that, I could care less. And I think you need to adopt that type of detachment to yourself and how
Mhm,
people, because it causes people to have inferiority complexes where they think they're not good enough and everybody's better than them and they're envious of those people or they feel they're being hurt by those people because they're worried about what they think. But to see you, a grown man with a tear in your eye, says volumes about your character, that you're strong and enough to let's say it's about Bobby. You care so much, it just puts a tear in your eye, or care so much about someone else in your family, puts a tear in your. That's okay. Or the circumstances you're in. You know, they're not
Yeah.
going my way exactly, but they're going. And that's just a miracle in itself that they're still going. That's okay. It's when you sit around and cry about it and whine about it and don't do anything about it. That's what makes it pitiful. It
Yeah.
does. But if
Yeah.
you got the attitude, like you said, sometimes, man, I just need to get into myself. You said that.
Yeah.
And that's your moment. And anybody happen to share that moment with you should one be worthy of sharing that moment with you. Number one, you have to pick your places, you know, for your own alone time. But I think you're making a huge mistake by worrying about what other people think or even caring for that matter. Unless you are a terrible human being and you've affected them so poorly that they can't stand being around you. Then you have to worry
No.
about, you know, how you are and what they think of you. But you're not that guy.
Yeah.
But you were going to tell me something about those moments in the backyard or somewhere else, wherever you are sitting.
It's music, man. You know, my grandfather, my great grandpa, he used to sing for the Dixie Hummingbirds in Tupelo, Mississippi,
Mhm.
back around about World War II. You know what I'm saying? He grew up playing with Elvis. Elvis is not from Memphis. He's from Tupelo. My family
Mississippi
sharecropped.
is.
Yeah. And my family sharecropped for his um
Wow.
in down in that state. He knew Elvis. And so when we were doing wrong, when we were little bitty kids, music played a part in the consequences.
Music is transformative and it'll
Yeah,
transport you to that moment. Music
yeah,
and food will
and
get you
food.
right there. Oh yeah, get you right there.
Man, I can remember getting a butt whooping, which wasn't really no butt whooping. It was child abuse because we got killings, and you understand extension cords and
I
stuff.
got beat like a
Yeah,
stepchild with freckles and bifocals. Trust me.
but why? But why does the soon as in the black household, soon as you get your butt whooped, now you got to clean up, and you gonna smell beans and cornbread? Why?
That association. That association. No, and
So
same with music, same with food.
yeah,
You know, happiness is only having something to look forward to. If you're happy, it's because you had something to look forward to. You know,
mhm,
if you're unhappy, it's because you don't have anything to look forward to. It's literally that simple. And it's not
mm,
me that can ever make it. Bobby can never make you happy. Your mother, your brothers, no one in life can ever make you happy. It's impossible. The only person that can make you happy is you. Once you're happy, you find another person who's happy with themselves, that lends for a better relationship. It just does.
mhm,
And your job isn't to make your wife happy ever. I hear people use this term so loosely. It's just dysfunctional. Your job is to keep her happy. Her job is to keep you happy. And if you both keeping one another happy, then chances are you're gonna be happy. Chances are it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have to allow it to be what it is. So you come to the table making you happy. She comes to the table making her happy. Together, you're happy and you can maintain one another's level of happiness. And when you see them falling by the wayside, getting sad, then you help them find something in their life to look forward to, their growth, their betterment, their amelioration. That's what you do. And that's how you maintain not the illusion of happiness, but the atmosphere and the environment of happiness. And I think that's
mhm.
really important. And I wish I could talk to you about this, but I have to say a couple things before we end. And I want to close out with a couple of questions, if there are any. I'm not sure if there are any questions today. Look over here on the board and see if we have any. Uh, but I'm going to go ahead and, if you've enjoyed and got something out of today's sessions, please show your support. Bless you. Showing your support, sharing this video, subscribing, of course, making comments to this channel, and of course, liking it. Our next norm therapy session will be with both Bobby and Montez on Sunday, March 10th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please go to goarrow.org. That's GOARO.org and normtherapy.com. NORMTHERAPY.com. Explore our opportunities and seek help for yourself or someone else who may be in need of our norm therapeutic services. If you're interested in applying to participate in our live stream as a victim or a survivor, please let us know by sending the email to contact@normtherapy.com. Also, to the same address, if you would like to become a norm therapist and you're interested, go to the Go Arrow site and fill out the application at the goarrow.org site, and that'll get the ball rolling for you, and somebody will be in contact. Now I got that out the way, and I'm glad. I want you to close us out here in a few minutes, Montez, after I say this. The reason I started with predatory or proximity predators, predatory people that are around you just can't get rid of, is most people find themselves in problems and in circumstances with people as a direct result of being around those people because they are proximity predators. Not everyone who's close to you who has a heavy hand or a disciplined voice like your great aunt. She may have been tough on you. She may have done a lot of stuff, whooped you sometimes, but she definitely had your best interest in mind. That's how you know that if a person's a proximity predator or not. Do they have your best interest in mind when they do what they do?
Right.
And you can, most times you can plainly see that a person does or does not have that in mind. And I think in your case, in your life, you had very few people with good intentions around you for you, good intentions around you for you. And now in your life, at this part of your life, you have someone who has great intentions, want to see you grow, want to see you prosper, want to see you strong. And I think that that should be the center of your universe, which I'm seeing that it is, and that's good. I'm not an advocate for anybody staying together or separating or divorcing or being in love forever. That's not what I'm advocating. What I'm saying is if the shoe fits, wear it. If the shoe fits, wear it. Each relationship has its own dynamic. So I'm glad we can have this conversation. And there's more to predatory people, much more to these proximity predators. One of these days when we're not doing these sessions, I want to get online and speak and go over some of my notes with the public about what I've learned about proximity predators over the past few decades. And I think that it's important that I share with the world what they can watch out for and look out for. And we're going to do that more in the future. But I enjoyed today's session. So tell me, I'm going to let you close us out. Oh man, I got to go thing. We got to stop that because I need to hear your voice. What are you getting out of not only norm therapy, what are you getting out of your relationship today in these days? What are you getting out of it?
I think the main thing that I've gotten, I think the main thing that has stopped me in life was being impatient. Today, I think that's the main thing that I've gotten. Without patience, there's going to be no understanding. There's not going to be any type of wisdom that you could soak up. There's not going to be anything because the impatience is going to stop you from progressing. And so if you can take the time to try to understand, maybe you can know, and then maybe you can have a better angle to attack. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
before the sunrise. You know what you call it?
BMNT, before morning nautical twilight.
Yeah. And
In
so
the evening.
I think there's a lot more of that in me, in my relationship, and outside of it. I don't get into arguments as much no more. Probably been about a month when it's, you know what I'm saying. Kids are one thing, but me and my wife, we don't argue that much. When it's good, it's good. You know,
Have you ever read the book The Art of War?
I've read that and the other ones too.
Sun Tzu. Okay, so sometimes your best possible action is none whatsoever. You must already have one in your head you must always have one in your head before you start anything. And if you're gonna be in a fight, know that you've already won it before you throw the first blow.
Yeah, I am an avid chess player. I've been playing chess since I was 14. I had a white guy tell me that my kind wasn't supposed to be playing chess, so I learned how to play over his shoulder, and then I beat all of them. Okay, in Wabash, Indiana, when I was 14. Now I'm 40, And I love the chessboard. My favorite piece on that board is that knight,
Oh
not the
yeah, the knife.
queen.
I call that my
Then
special.
because
Yeah,
yeah, because he attacks at every angle. I
that's
mean,
it.
he covered more board than the queen does.
He does. And that's
You
that move,
know,
that hook move. There you
that
go.
L.
I love it.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go. I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
And
Yes,
so
92. We call that my special forces, believe it or not, on the
yeah,
board.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, bro. But that's a good
I
listen.
just
We got 21 seconds left. What do you want to tell the world about your heart?
so it's solid. It's solid, but it's soft too. So you got to be careful.
But all hearts should be just like that. They should be
Yeah.
tough but soft. Yeah, yeah. You got to have that compassion in you. Listen, I enjoyed today, Montez. Thank you very much. I really appreciated our time. I wanted to be kind of oriented towards just recognizing the people around us and recognize how we feel. Stop worrying about what people think about you, bro. I know that's been a big issue for you your whole life because you've been displaced from life. You really don't know how to fit sometimes. You don't because you haven't had much practice at it. But now that you do have some practice at it, stop worrying and caring about what other people think. Worry about that you're doing the right thing. Your ethics are more important than anything else. Your sense of right and wrong, more anything else more important. And your respect for others and especially their respect for you. I think that's important. So I look forward to talking to you in the next few days with Bobby. Okay.
Yep,
Have a good one. Say hello to Bobby for me. I'll talk to you
I
soon and
will.
thank